Hey everybody, Hosdrone here. I have another release day Wednesday video for you, and even better than that, Wednesday is Dilemmas Talk. We've got no buffer time. If you've already went to the CC website, you will have seen that this is the release date card for today. You will also have possibly read my article. If you have not, go ahead and do that first. I can wait. You can go ahead and pause the video and go do that and then come back. Okay, I assume you're back. So, no buffer time stops 9 minus X people, random selection, X equals this mission's span. Opponent may reseed dilemma beneath a mission with more affiliation icons facing you than this mission. So as I discussed in the article, you've got a lot of different options, but you do get to look. I mean, you'll see all your opponent's missions. You'll see the number of icons that are on there. And you will have the ability to, as always, read and react. You will probably, when you're seeding your dilemmas, you will be trying to decide what are the missions I think my opponent's going to do first, and so forth, right? And so you have the potential ability with no buffer time that if you guess correctly, you might be able to get an opponent to face this dilemma more than once. Shout out to Kaiser. We're going to go ahead and do a Kaiser style dilemma video here with a little bit of a twist because, yeah, you'll see. Alright, so we have set up a scenario here. This is fresh in my mind, so this is what I'm going with. We have the mission set that from MVB's Starfleet Vulcan deck from first edition American Nationals. So when you set up against this deck, it kind of becomes obvious that he's starting at one of these two locations, and if say the missions came out like this, which is exactly the order and position that they came out when we played, therefore, if I was playing with this dilemma and I had dilemma strategy where I was utilizing it, then this is what I would have done. I would have guessed that he's going to start at Vulcan because it's worth the most points, and if I don't see the dead end there, then it's useful to think that he's thinking that either there's a dead end there and he just does the other two missions and comes back to this mission, but if there is no dead end there, this is the mission he wants to do because it gives him potentially the most points and is likely to be the location that he's got the bulk of his people at. If it's a Starfleet deck, maybe he wants to do this mission here first, but the reality is that this mission is just worth more points and so forth. So let's just kind of assume that we are correct. So this deck, first 2-3 turns ish, is going to play out some people, and then he's going to, then they're just going to simply come to the present and attempt to deliver Ancient Artifact in order to see whether or not dead end is there, right? Let's assume for all intents and purposes that we are just 3 across the board, and so if there even is a dead end out there, it's not clear where it is, and so it behooves the deck to find out, because, and this is the reason why, is because with time locations here and here most likely, and Daniel's ability to bug out, if he finds that there's the dead end here, then he can go here and he can know that he's got his Daniel's bug out available to him at the other planet mission, right? Okay, so that's the strategy being employed by the deck that's running this, and this is our dilemma strategy using no buffer time. If we were to get in a hypothetical game, this is just to highlight what no buffer time is able and capable of doing. So let's just assume that we're in that situation. The Starfleet Vulcan deck is attempting Vulcan, and it's attempting with 4 people, right? So 4 people attempt, and then they bounce off a Thasian power, right? 4 people aren't going to pass it. We force the deck to commit more resources. If the deck is attempting on, say, turn 2, it's unlikely it's going to even pass. So we push that deck to turn 3, turn 4 to even want to attempt. And let's just jump forward then. Let's just say it's turn 4, and the deck needs to come up with enough cunning to be able to get through. So it needs to have cunning probably greater than 45, maybe greater than 50. And so it's going to have to send at least 6 people then. 5 times 8 even is 40. And so it's going to take at least a 6th person, if not a 7th or 8th personnel. Let's assume that with Thasian powers, they're just going to commit. Just going to commit. So they send down 9 people. Let's just say 9. 9's a good number. 9 people go down. Thasian power says, okay, you've got it. Good. Cool. And then we flip the copy of no buffer time. So now it's 9 minus X personnel. X equals the mission span is how much we're going to stop. It's a high span mission, but they sent down 9. And so they're going to be left with just 5 people after they hit the no buffer time. So the no buffer time is going to stop. They have 5 people left. We now have the option of moving the buffer time to another mission. Okay. In this scenario, we can probably just maybe choose to send them to Earth. We like our space combo. If they want to keep protecting their people, maybe because we're playing a battle deck, maybe because we're playing a opportunity battle deck, and the deck is always safest when it's hovering around its homeworlds, right? And doesn't want to lose people on their crappy ships to opportunity battle. So we think it's going to probably just go to Earth next, and then that buys it time to find more of its ships so that it can hammer space most efficiently. But we also maybe want to herd them towards space so that they're out in the open a little bit more. So we send the buffer time over to here because it has one more showing icon than the deliver ancient artifact, and goes here. And then they hit Kazon Bomb. Kazon Bomb, the likelihood of 4 random people having 3 security because we stopped 5 of their 9 because it's 9 minus 4, right? 9 minus the span, so we stopped 5 people. So then they're left with 4. They almost undoubtedly fail the Kazon Bomb. Kazon Bomb reads kills all personnel present. That's everyone on the planet, not just those facing the dilemma. Present is where the dilemma is present, and the present is the entire planet. So then Kazon Bomb will look through everybody that's there at the mission. We forced a lot of people with the Thasian power, and then we put them all at risk for a Kazon Bomb, and that's just going to be devastating, right? Starfleet, Vulcan, it really doesn't matter. Pretty much the only type of decks that are going to not get hammered hard by Kazon Bomb. Jem'Hadar, certain non-aligned decks with that are heavy on androids and Borg and stuff like that, right? But for the most part, you can assume that the Kazon Bomb's going to be pretty devastating to that. And we even possibly encouraged a lot of lower strength, higher cunning people to go, right? With the Thasian power, so then the Kazon Bomb racks them. Granted, the mission is now open, but we may have crushed 2 turns worth of people. Okay? And they're dead, not available. Okay, so that's that, right? With all those people dead, it becomes even more dangerous to go to space because the whole because typically in space you need a bunch, right? Or you need to have multiple ships with people on both so that you can have a sacrificial crew and then the sweep up crew most of the time. So the deck probably just going to continue to play personal out, solve this mission most likely because they just need, cunning greater than 37 and then those 4 skills, right? And then they would most likely go back to Earth because, again, now that they lost a bunch of people, if Daniels wasn't among them, then Daniels is still available to protect, and so, that's what they're thinking. Okay, so, yes, the 4th dilemma is over here at Earth, but it's just in front of something, and we need to push through it eventually, and if we go to space with the few people we have left and no bug out, we could get screwed, right? So, they attempt... and here's the thing, if they want to just attempt with, because it's going to stop 6 people, because it's going to be 9 minus 3, they're going to stop with 6, they could just send in a whoever group, doesn't matter, maybe just send in a single guy, this particular deck has to send in 4 because of referee tent, which is something that we know, so we know that this being first, we're going to get 4 stops. They just have to commit 4 people, right? And the opponent knows that, which is the other reason why they're not scared of facing 4 dilemmas. It's like, okay, we just get to get the buffer time out of the way, and then we move on. So they do that. They attempt, the buffer time stops the 4 people, and then the buffer time, we're going to move to here, because now this mission has 4 icons. So we're getting a 3rd application of no buffer time. And then they send in another group of at least 4 afterwards to see what's there. We hit them with an M113 creature. And the stopped people are eligible for this. Keep that in mind. And then we hit them with the Jolly Chew. So then the Jolly Chew is going to possibly kill 2 more. So we've killed 3, stopped 4. And the opponent still needs to have a ship with transporter skill, because if there was a human, if there was any transporter skill, they would have to be Vulcan. Most likely, Vulcans don't really have transporter skill. So M113 creature probably just kills a human on a ship if there even is one, and then we kill 2 on the planet, right? And then at the end of turn, we can kill another person with the M113 creature, and then now they need to have their transporter skill on board a ship. And then let's assume on the following turn, or 2 turns after that, they accomplish that. Then we hit them with the medical crisis. So realistically, we're looking at, it was 3rd turn here, then it takes 4, 5, takes probably through turn 5 to be able to come up with enough people to be pushing through here. And then we're killing people there, possibly. And then turn 6 to possibly push through this. And that's probably best case scenario with that. And then they'll have solved Earth. And then around turn 7-ish, they're going to be able to finally go to space. And they're going to want to... And then here's the thing. This mission over here, they can only get to it, and they're out in the open. And it's harder. It's just harder to get to it. And so they may want to just be like, okay, it's just easier for me to get my ships to intercept Dignitary. And then they would probably just attempt intercept Dignitary. And then once again, we're in. It doesn't really matter. We probably push them towards investigate derelict with the no buffer time. But we set up knowing that, and so we have 2 space combos in our deck, and we can put another nasty space combo here, something that can be just three dilemmas, and it's super nasty. So if they want to go this way, they can, but they can just go this way still, because they're once again faced with the same scenario of, well, I can just send the minimum in, get the no buffer time out of the way, and then go in with a backup crew. But around turn 7, which is when this will most likely take place in a game, they have to push, because we should be pushing for the win if we're a solver deck. And if we're a battle deck, they're trying to dodge us. But if we're a solver deck, we're pushing them on the offense. And so it becomes hard for the opponent to say, okay, well, I can't fly home and fly back necessarily unless I have the ships to do it, which is entirely possible and very likely. But at the same time, it's one-way trips, and so investigate the derelict is a fine option, but we will have put probably our better space combo there. And so then let's just assume that the opponent goes, you know what, it's just easier for me to get to intercept dignitary, because if there is a garbage scow or something of that nature, we're here to be able to move it all in one turn. So they attempt, and then it's up to them to decide, like, do I want to just like send a crew and get the no buffer time out of the way, and if I do, then what am I doing behind it? I don't know. So let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that on turn 7, we will have potentially killed enough personnel with all of this that their option for doing 2 crews really isn't available to them anymore, that we will have pushed them into having just like 12 people left, and if they have to send in 4, then they're down to just like the other 8 people have to have it behind them, and at that point you might as well just go in, right? So either way, so let's say they just go in, they're just like, you know what, let's just go in, see what we can push through, because whatever behind that, we need to just simply have it anyway. So they say go in with 12 people, we hit them with that, and now it's the same, like, okay, 6 people stop, and so it's basically like the same 6 people anyway, except for now it's random. So you kind of put it up to the random, RNGesus to decide whether or not you're going to have it, versus you just happen to pick the right people to go. I don't know what the odds are in between you deciding versus RNGesus having his say, but go in with 12 people, and then 6 of them stomp to that, and then we hit them with the Gomtu Shockwave. So what I want to point out here is how this combo and this combo stood on their own 2 feet. So even if we were incorrect that they were going to attempt Vulcan first, we're still left with a scenario where the no buffer time is still, it wasn't necessary to make anything else work, it's just there. And so we can hurt them here, and then they go to here or here or here, and it doesn't really matter. If they attempt Vulcan, we get the 1 use of the no buffer time anyway. And if we were wrong in the sense of, if we were wrong in the sense of, them doing it in a different order, then we will press them here and press them here, and then if this is the last mission, then the Thasian power is is going to, we go in with 4, they stop, now we have to go in with everybody else, and then it's literally the same scenario, where they then basically go in with like everybody else, or nearly everybody else, and then the Thasian power goes away, this hits and stops however many people, and then the Kazon bomb's still going to wreck everybody there. And it will include the stopped people from the first attempt too. Right? So whether it's on the front side, and you get to hurt them pretty hard early, or it's on the back end of the game, you will be equally likely to have the no buffer time be very relevant. So let's go back to what we were doing. So then we hit them here. So now the 6 people had to have had either empathy and integrity or 2 diplomacy and integrity, and if they don't, then they're going to get damaged, they're going to get flung, they're going to get flung back to Vulcan and damaged, right? And then they got to come in and just play against a normal combo again. And there you go. Well, let's hypothetically here, like I said, what's hypothetical that they Yeah. So yeah, I think I've shown it pretty well here. So I hope you like what you see here. I'm just trying to showcase how no buffer time can be used. These are just some other combos that I've come up with, or combos that are kind of tried and true and so forth. But you see how no buffer time can be used as just a standard filter to set up something nasty, or can be used, and then can, depending on how the opponent's missions are, you can get a bunch of use out of it if it just happens to work out this way. Let's change the scenario slightly, where just instead of the missions coming out like this, like say these two got flipped. Because then what happens is that we can put the no buffer time, once again we're in the same scenario where the no buffer time, if they face it here first, great, we're going to get more use out of it. If they don't, and say they go to Earth first, they deal with this here, and then, we would have, during the dilemma seeding phase, we'd have the option to maybe switch this around a little bit, where we just put this combo here, and then we have this combo here, and then we could put the dead end right here. Because what happens then is if we have a dead end combo that goes here, or just it's 3 dilemmas and a dead end, they could attempt Vulcan first, bounce off that, and then decide if they're going to go to space, if they're going to go to Earth. And if they go to space first, then again we force a bunch of people, and then we kill all the people on that ship, and then it can bounce to here to basically re-add itself in front of, it can add itself in front of or in place of the dead end. So whatever is behind the dead end, this now becomes the first dilemma after a dead end combo, or of a combo that's behind the dead end. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of versatility, and you're getting multiple uses out of it. So anyway, that's all I have for you on this. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you are enjoying the release of To the Journey. Full release is in 2 days on Friday, and then it'll be legal 1 week from Friday, and then we'll all be able to start playing with all these cards from the new set in tournaments, regional season coming up, etc. Hope you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. May the profits be with you.